What is going on, y'all? My name is HazyRome, and welcome to the Get Coins or Die Tryin podcast. We got a special episode for you guys today. DeepBoyce, the man joining me on this podcast, tell him what it is for today, man. What do we got?
Today we're joined by the very highly esteemed Danielle Rayne, who voices Vetra Nyx in the upcoming Mass Effect Andromeda video game.
Hello, guys.
What is going on, Danielle? Thank you for doing this interview. I mean, you're a Turian in that game.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Really exciting.
There's a lot of Garage fans out there.
Yeah, and I get to be tall, which, in my real life I'm not, so only in VO could I actually be tall. Actors like to lie about stuff we can do. I've had so many friends call me and say, I told them I could ride a horse. Can you teach me how to ride a horse in an afternoon? And actors will lie and say, I can be this or that. And I can never been able to say I can be tall until now.
How tall are you?
I'm like 5'4". I'm quite average in height, but I'm sure not Turian tall.
I mean, yeah, Turians. I don't even know how tall Turians are, but they generally seem
198 centimeters. So that makes me even taller, than Drac by like a centimeter or something. Or yeah, I mean, if you look at, there's a chart of all of our heights. Vetra is the tallest. Yeah,
Vetra's the tallest. All right, standing tall.
Taller than Jal. Yeah, we were talking about Jal needing some platform shoes. To keep up. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Vetra Nyx, she's stepping into some big shoes. But before we get into some Mass Effect Andromeda, we want to know about Danielle Rayne. Who are you? Who are you before Vetra Nyx? Before we got to Vetra Nyx, tell us a little bit about yourself. You told us before we started that you got some New York origins. So
yeah, I do.
You're right at home with us.
Totally. I mean, my mom and dad met on a blind date in Manhattan. My dad's good friend, Irving Schoenhorn, wanted to date my mom's roommate, Michelle, who was actually an actress. And Michelle wasn't really sure about Irving. So she was like, I'm going to bring a girlfriend and you bring a guy and we'll double date. And it never worked out for Irving and Michelle, but my mom and dad have been going strong. So yeah, they met on a blind date in Manhattan.
Good. That's good to hear. So how long have you lived? Like you said, you lived in New York, but how long have you lived in the city? Or had you lived in the city?
I lived in Manhattan. I right out of college, I moved straight there and started working. But after a while, at the time there just weren't that many TV shows in New York City, and I always wanted to try pilot season in LA. So after a little while, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go out to LA and see what that is like. But I had like a 7-month, return ticket. And I came out here and I met my husband, who is a stunt guy. And I just kind of fell in love. Next thing I knew, I was planning a wedding and never going back to Manhattan. So, I mean, I even let a really great 6-room floor through on the Upper West Side of Manhattan go. That's how much I'd fallen in love with this guy. And it was only $900 a month for this 6-room floor through. Well, my next door neighbors were on, rent controlled?
Yeah.
And I remember this guy saying to me one day, yeah, I pay for rent, what you probably pay for your utilities. I was like, wow. And I thought I had it good. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I do. I loved Manhattan. I'm so glad I got to live there. I lived on Amsterdam Avenue between 80th and 81st, and there's like tons of restaurants and theater companies and all sorts of stuff. But it was a great lifestyle. I'm glad I got to experience it, but boy, do I love LA.
Let me tell you something that's kind of strange. I'm not going to give our addresses here on this podcast. Somebody try to knock on our door or whatnot. But no lie, like we're close to where you used to live when we record.
Really?
Yeah. We're in that we're in that area, so that's interesting. It's like a small world, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you by Zabar's?
Zabar's, yeah, we are.
That's on Broadway.
Oh yeah. I lived a block away from that. I mean, it's the best. It's the best. Wow. I miss that bread you could get there. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, that whole area just has fantastic things to eat, man. Oh
yeah, definitely.
If you ever come back, you should. I don't know if you have been, but you should try out Levain Bakery. We always talking about Levain Bakery on this podcast.
But, no, I haven't been to that one. I used to. Sarah Best Kitchen, still there on Amsterdam Avenue. There was a Sarah Best Kitchen restaurant.
Yeah.
That was on Amsterdam Avenue across the street from me. And that place had, like the best chocolate chip cookies. And yeah, it was really detrimental to my being a healthy weight. That's why I was a runner and everything in Manhattan. I lived right between the two parks, and I was in one of those every day.
Yeah, but you met your husband. You said, I don't need those cookies anymore. I got the love of my life. I'm good to go.
Right? Fact. That's a fact.
Yeah. I mean, he stole you from us, but you know what I mean? I can't hate on that, man. He's got a catch. He's got a real catch, man.
Ah, that's sweet. That's sweet. He's a really handsome guy. I'm very lucky. And he's a sweet man too, just takes good care of me. And awesome. He's hopefully going to, be really quiet while we're trying to do this, and supposed to knocking on the window going, honey, do you need anything? No, go away. I actually put a big sign up on our doors out there saying, do not disturb me unless the house is on fire. Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't happen. We're gonna be throwing fire at you with some of these questions, but hopefully it doesn't light your house aflame or anything like that. So tell us about your acting career. I mean, you're a little different from anyone we've ever spoken to in that you've been on TV, and it seems like you have an extensive career in that respect. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I actually got a degree in classical theater. So when I was living in Manhattan, I was actually working on soaps, or I was doing commercials and stuff like that. Right. And then I'd go do theater in a basement, off Broadway, but not just off Broadway, off Broadway, and I'd go be doing, Hedda Gabler in a basement somewhere. And then the same time, working on some of the soaps. So that was kind of just how I got to cut my teeth. But when I came out to LA, like I said, I meet this stunt guy, and I kind of have to get reestablished. But he worked up at Universal Studios. And so all of a sudden your life becomes like, hey, it's Valentine's Day. For our date, do you want to go learn how to free rappel off a bridge? And sure, that sounds great, or let's go to Chip's house and jump off the roof and practice high falls. And
wow.
Sure, why not? I've always been athletic, but not like stunt person athletic. And I didn't even come from a gymnastics background. So I kind of got in with this whole group. And then eventually, the theater role became, they have something here called Halloween Horror Nights, and they do a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure show. And my first thing here was being the star of this show, where they kind of had a Lady Macbeth, a cyber Macbeth kind of witch character that was going after Bill and Ted. And that was the first part that I got when I came out here. So it was a lot of fun. They realized they'd actually written the part for a really talented stunt woman, but he had written the script. So it really did sound, kind of like Shakespeare. And it was too much, to teach her how to do that. It was easier to teach me how to do some stunts than to try to teach her how to, do all the dialogue that they had written for it. So I got to cut my teeth on doing some stunts and working in some of the shows. And then I just met, some really great people as a result, of working up at Universal.
What kinds of stunts did they have you do?
Well, there was a show, a Terminator 2 3D show. It was actually the most expensive 3D movie that was made in its time. And it was started in Orlando, Florida in 96. But then in 99, they brought it to California, and I auditioned, and I got to be Sarah Conner, and I got to play Sarah Conner for a good number of years.
That's a badass role right there.
Oh, I mean, that was really I kind of clicked in, you find your wheelhouse, something that really you can relate to. Yeah. And Sarah Conner was it. And so you start the show with a 40-foot free rappel into the theater with a machine gun on your back. And you proceed to start shooting, the machine gun in this auditorium as you're trying to take it over from Cyberdyne Systems, right? And and every show started with climbing 6 flights of stairs. You do 10 shows a day. I mean, it was really an endurance job. And then just, being really safety aware. Especially because you've got a machine gun and there's people with their families and children, and this it was exciting. It was great. But the people that I met were really what was, so amazing. You're always working with people who are constantly working in the industry. And then they go, hey, here's a TV show part where they can't decide if they want to get an actress and a stunt double for, or if they can find an actress who can do the stunts. And the stunts involve stuff like swimming in water that's 50 degrees or doing a fight
That's
scene
cold.
and dying. And it was really cold.
That is cold.
But it was easier for me to do that than for them to find an actress and a stunt double, and probably cheaper too. So, I'd get opportunities to do parts like that, where I could kind of go in and yet again, be another badass, fighting, dying in water and things like that. And yeah, it's been a pretty cool career. I mean, the difference of what I used to do in New York City versus what I, started doing in LA has been amazing, But
it's interesting. I've actually been to that ride, the Terminator ride, but in Orlando.
Yeah.
Not the one in LA. And I'll never forget it because I don't know if it's the sound effects or if they actually use blanks, like guns that shoot blanks. But I'll never forget going on that ride and being absolutely startled, like just scared to death when they come and start shooting the guns.
It's actually, in LA, we have a different load. It was a 3/4 millimeter crimp, because there's no projectile in the end, but it's a crimp. And it had to be worked out so it was just the right amount of sound for the venue that you're in.
Right.
And then, of course, when you have a lot of people in it, they absorb some of the sound. But I lived with earplugs for all the years that I was playing Sarah Conner. You could really damage your hearing if you didn't. But and then you had to learn how to actually clean and maintain the machine guns too. So that was a huge part of it. I actually went through a boot camp as part of the training. There's a guy named Captain Dale Dye, and he's retired U.S. military and Marine Corps, I think. And he's the one who trains actors to stop being pussies and act more like military. And he has an amazing history. I mean, Saving Private Ryan is one of the movies that he's done. And he's also an actor in a lot of them. Yeah. But they put us through boot camp with him. And we actually trained up at the Los Angeles Police Department. We ran their obstacle courses. We learned how to use weapons up there. I mean, it was so intense, but I've never had an experience where someone, really inspired you at the same time they pushed you harder than you've ever been pushed. Yeah. But it's incredible. That's like another little piece of the badass puzzle, is getting to go through boot camp. So,
I mean, how long was the boot camp?
That was 3 days. And then we did a couple other boot camps that were really more for the media, where they would put us through like running obstacle courses through mud just to have something that they could really show on TV. And there's a scene of this guy who's like screaming at me. And what was the name of the movie with Demi Moore? G.I. Jane.
G.I. Jane.
And it's so like G.I. Jane, where he's screaming at me and I'm dripping mud and everything. And they loved flashing that, on the TV as part of their, getting ready for the Terminator opening here in Hollywood. Yeah.
But you kept it together. You got through it.
Yeah, I did. I'm pretty tough. Yeah. I'm pretty tough. I may not be tall, but I'm tough.
I could imagine if that were me, I'd probably start crying halfway through. Yelling at me.
The temptation was there. Believe me, I really wanted to, but it's like, oh God, they got a camera on me, and I cannot cry right now.
I mean, you're telling me about all these stunts you're doing. I'm like, I don't even want to go up the stairs 2 at a time. Like, you're rappelling like 40 feet, going through boot camp and whatnot. I'm like, no. I'm sitting here like I'm shaking my head no as you're talking. Like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that is part of the thing of falling in love with a stuntman, is that you are just gonna, you're gonna do things you never thought you would do in your lifetime. And I'm so grateful for it. It's just made for a really cool life. And I did get back into TV and film and stuff like that. Working up at Universal just kind of allowed me to, pay all the bills while I try to get reestablished on this coast, because it's kind of like, it's a whole new ball game. They don't know what to do with you out here, whereas your agents back in New York know exactly what to do with you. And so you have to kind of start over. So I started over, and it actually, has really worked out. But those opportunities have been amazing. In fact, I know you've seen probably the Portal No Escape short that I did.
Literally about to bring that up.
The reason I got that was my first John Connor is a guy named Keith Adams, who's
your first John Connor.
Yeah, my first John Connor.
How many?
Never forget your first John Connor.
So, like, how many John Connors has there been?
Well, you know what? Guys become successful, people become successful, or they decide I'm going to go have kids, whatever. So you do have a constant rotation. Yeah. And the nice thing was I was one of the full-time Sarah Connors. So if I got a job or I got an audition, I could call somebody and say, hey, can you take my shifts today, this week, whatever, this month, because I'm going away, and you could cover yourself. So, and then know that when you came back, you had, you know, a regular job that was flexible for acting. So my first John Connor was Keith Adams, and he became a stunt coordinator, and he worked on that recent Mad Max movie and all that sort of stuff. Wow. He's really high level now. But when Dan Trachtenberg was looking to cast his short, he asked Keith, you know, she's kind of like a Sarah Connor type. Can you give me a couple names? And Keith sent over some of us Sarah Connors. So that was how I ended up getting this Portal short that, you know, I auditioned with all these fantastic stunt women. We ranged from like serious stunt women to people who do parkour to, you know, just actresses. And I watched, like, this one woman, her name is Lucy Romberg. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's one of the most amazing people in parkour right now. And I watched her running the same obstacle course that then I was going to try to do. And these people have a way of like flying and making it look so cool. And I'm like watching going, I'm going to look awful compared to her. And, you know, it was just a matter of there was acting to be done, and there were things that you had to do that were kind of more physical. So I just got really lucky that he liked what I did.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, first of all, congrats on that short. It's called Portal No Escape. And if you haven't checked it, you need to, because 19 million views have accumulated on that video. I was just looking at that today to see how many it had gotten, because it came out like, what, for 6 years ago? 6 years ago?
Yeah, it was August 23rd, 2011. And I only remember that because I was sitting in the gun room at Terminator. It was a year, more than a year. We shot it in 2010, and it was a 3-day shoot. It was really, you know, it was intense. We were shooting like in an old meat factory down in downtown LA. He had found these incredible locations, like all the scenes that happen in that room and down the hallways were this abandoned meat factory. And that another place was the Sears Tower. There's an old Sears building, and that tower, the staircase. So we shot in all these really cool locations, and it was well over a year of special effects and edits and all sorts of, you know, visual effects before they actually released it on August 23rd. So, you know, you shoot something and then all this time passes, you almost forget about it, with the exception of Dan was pretty cool about, you know, he'd send me a little clip of something, or, you know, maybe something of the 3D rendering, just so I'd see something was still happening. And then one day you're just sitting in the gun room and your phone starts like going, you know, blink, 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 because he's just released it. Now everybody's all of a sudden seeking you out, finding you. You know, it was not unlike the day that Caroline Livingstone then announced me as Vetra Nyx, you know, where all of a sudden the phone just starts going, you know, crazy. And you're like, what's happening? Oh my God, what just happened? You know? But yeah, so that's how long it actually took for that. But when it was released, we got 1 million hits a day for the first 5 days. Like Lady Gaga had a video that came out that week, and we beat it. It was just, we had so many views happening. So, you know, take that, Lady Gaga. You know?
So I mean, just to outline your resume so far, you played Sarah Connor. You jump off like 40-foot, you know, areas. You fire machine guns, and you beat Lady Gaga. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. You've slayed the Lady Gaga like that. You know, not many people can claim that.
And that makes for quite a resume, I gotta say.
And given what she did in the Super Bowl, I think she was kind of looking over at what Danielle was doing, and she was like, "I have to."
I gotta say, I loved her performance at the Super Bowl. I know it's like pretty divisive, but I thought she was fantastic. I thought she was great, and she was doing some really cool stunts too. I mean, that first jump, we're watching, going, "Oh, that's so awesome!" Yeah.
I mean, is there any word of her? Because I know at the end she just kind of jumped off the screen and disappeared. Like...
Have we heard from her since?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Is she gone?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But I mean, so I mean, I was watching that Portal show, and I was actually talking to Boyce, and I was like, I would love to see this as like a movie or something to that extent, because honestly, it's a compelling idea. I noticed that there's not one word uttered by you in the whole thing, and the intensity and the sadness of being stuck somewhere and not being able to get out, like it really resonated with me. And
that's all Dan. That's all Dan. His direction is just amazing. I could not believe how fantastic that whole project turned out, because you're an actor, you say yes to a lot of things, you watch it later on and go, oh Lord, why did I say yes? But in this particular case, it was so many times more amazing than I thought possible. But that's when someone is that skilled as a director, that's why Dan, that was his calling card. And, it got him. We watched, 10 Cloverfield Lane last night.
Yeah.
And, just what a great movie that is. It's just, that's everything that was inside Dan, just ready to get out.
Sure. I mean, you could even tell like the emotion of being trapped somewhere with people you don't know, relative to the character you played, Shell, being trapped in this room, and just the emotions she felt. There's some parody there. There's some similarities there.
Yeah.
And shout outs to him for such an awesome. Both of those movies are awesome.
I'm gonna bust a myth too. That actually I am not Shell. My character's name is the unidentified test subject. Yeah, and yet. We were talking about this because he was emailing back and forth with me saying, everybody keeps assuming you're Shell,
right? Yeah, that's what
you are, but
online.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I've seen it changed a couple times up on IMDb where it goes back to, and then it goes back to Shell. So I don't know who does that, but they can think that I'm Shell, but the reality is Dan's intention was that I was the unidentified test subject.
The more you know everybody. Wow. Just busted a myth right there. So have you played Portal at all? Did you play Portal? Did you like? How did you,
I got to level 7 and I totally crapped out. As I've said, I'm like me in the video games, not so much, but I felt like I really needed to. And Keith Adams actually was the one who said, "You've got to try to play this game. It's a free download. Just try it on your computer." And so I got to like level 7 and went, "That's not. Okay," but I get the concept. One of the tough things for me was he had to retrain me how to hold the weapon, because, you got a way of holding an AR-15 and there's a different way, totally different, of holding the portal gun.
Oh, I know all about that.
Holding it up instead of like, having it kind of down and low. So that was one of the benefits of having actually, tried to play the video game. That little stick figure.
I like how you just casually. I like how you just casually said, you've got a way of holding an AR-15, and it's different. I'm just saying here, like nodding, like, yeah, I know what you mean. That's one thing that I have a feeling I could still remember how to take all the pins apart and clean it and reassemble it. We have armorers at Terminator. We did, and. They would watch us and go, boy, I wish I had guys who could actually clean and reassemble the weapon as well as you Sarah Connors do here at the show. Because we really, you take a woman and a bunch of cleaning stuff and we're going to put that thing together and it's going to be perfection, Wow. And I've since had some other jobs, like I guess most recently Hawaii 5.0. I had a shotgun that I used on that, a pump action shotgun. And I got compliments from the armorers, which, makes you feel so good. When the armorer likes the way you're handling the weapon. And it's like, I haven't had many women who could, take that over and do that. And thank you. Okay, I can take that home and, feel better about that. You've been training to be Vetra your whole life, man. Just getting your military experience up and whatnot, getting your body down.
I know who I'm running to during the zombie apocalypse.
More on that later, because we got some questions we're gonna throw at you.
Oh Lord!
Near the end of the podcast, so stay tuned for that. But you spoke about your playing Portal and whatnot and the gaming industry. You mentioned that earlier. I mean, I'm gonna blow up your spot right now. She's not a gamer, y'all.
Yeah,
and, y'all, she does not self-identify as a gamer.
Truth. It's truth.
We're gonna have to change that.
Yeah. Well, when my husband and I started dating, there were some fighting games that he had that I would play with him. But, I'd perfect like a jump spin kick or something like that so I could possibly play. But, I was pretty much useless at any. I'm a real physical person.
Sure.
Not a person who can sit and figure out how the thumbs versus the, all the little buttons on the remote. You got to hit a bunch of them at the same time. My head doesn't work that way. When they have VR, when they have virtual reality for Mass Effect, I'll be right on that. I can do that. We have some neighbors who live behind us, and he's like a really high-level editor, and they have one of those, the $4,000 computer with the however many $1,000 virtual reality set. Sure. We got to come over and play some games. That was fantastic. And
just to clarify, you're not confirming any Mass Effect VR, just speaking hypothetically.
Oh yeah, hypothetically.
Because there's fans out there that would take that and run.
I know. Yeah, no, I there's nothing with VR that I'm aware of, but that's the only skill I might possibly possess somewhere down the road in the gaming industry. when it's all just VR and we're all just standing and moving around, I might be able to do that.
So I'm going to read Boyce's mind right now, and I know he's thinking, what fighting games did you play?
I was bugging my husband with this the other day. What was the name of that game that we used to play all the time, the fighting ones? Wasn't there one that was something fighter, Street Fighter? Was it Street Fighter or something? Is there a name like that?
Street Fighter's one.
Yeah, I think it was that.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing just because Street Fighter is literally the most popular fighting game ever. So, it's just funny to hear you be like, Street Fighter, is that the name of it? And there's probably people listening it's Street Fighter,
yeah, I think that was the one. Yeah, and that was was really my last experience until I tried to play Portal on the computer, and then just now I about 2 months ago I ordered the whole trilogy.
Nice.
Right, so we set it up. We got the PS3. I got to decide if I'm going to get a PS4 or a PS4 Pro. Or is that the right PS4 Pro?
Yeah.
But we have the PS3 right now, and I'm sitting here and I've got it loaded up, and I'm literally watching my shepherd run in circles. I'm staring at the ceiling, looking at the sky, looking at the ground, and Tommy's trying to help me. It's no, don't move the thing so much. I can't. It doesn't work.
With current games, I think. Because we've kind of been, me and Boyce and other gamers, we've been playing games for so long, we've kind of adapted, but there is a level of controlling the right stick, which generally controls the camera in a lot of these games. So there is another dimension that's added to it. It's not the platforming games with Mario or Donkey Kong back in the day, where you just press a button and you press a button and only have to travel in one direction. You kind of have to control yourself on a 3-dimensional plane. So it does add a layer of complication if you haven't been gaming that long. You know what I mean?
We go to the arcades and I am just so all over the games there, where you actually pick up a weapon and you keep reloading and you keep shooting zombies. And, I love those, but I need that physicality of holding that weapon in my hands because it's kind of what I'm, what feels like home,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how far are you into the Mass Effect trilogy?
I have to check in with my husband because I finally said, here, you take it and you do it. And I just sit on the sofa next to him and go, hit that dialogue wheel. Okay, hit that one. I want to see what she says. No, don't miss that one. and that's kind of the way it goes, I just kind of watch him and just kind of, sit on the sofa and eat the popcorn and tell him what to do. It's like backseat driving, isn't it? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering from doing the Portal movie or the Portal short, was that kind of the bridge connecting you from Portal to Mass Effect, or I guess your introduction into the gaming industry?
It could be, but it was such a long process of actually getting the job in Mass Effect that like other things happen in the meantime. Like when I was doing that Hawaii Five-0 episode, James C. Burns is Woods from Call of Duty. And the episode was, you know, it's this mobster who's hanging out on this island with his girlfriend, and I'm the girlfriend, and McGarrett and his new girlfriend have a date on this island. So it's kind of like the two of us against each other, the two couples against each other. But, you know, the whole time that we were working, I watched James as he always had his computer with him, and he was always doing stuff that involved Call of Duty. You know, he goes on USO tours, you know, and goes to see the troops because they're really big in the Call of Duty, you know, games and everything, obviously. And I saw what he was doing. I was like, wow, this is really kind of interesting because I've, you know, been pursuing voiceovers for a few years now, but mostly it'd been like commercials, you know, narration. And the video games were like, yeah, that would be cool, but there's a lot of people who really want to do video games. And there's only that many parts for women, especially. So the very,
that is true.
Yeah, well, I think Mass Effect is probably one of the best balanced in terms of offering opportunities for women versus some of the other video games where I'm like, there's just one woman for like every 10 guys. It's like Shakespeare, you know? You know, so
not to take anything away from BioWare, but you know, I think a lot of that had to do with the fandom having played the original trilogy because, you know, one, you could argue that FemShep was highly, like way more popular than Male Shep. I mean, at least it seems to be the general consensus that she's the most liked, you know, when you compare the two. And originally, you know, the Mass Effect games didn't really push FemShep the way they pushed Male Shep, but by the third game, they kind of had, you know, dual marketing. Like, you know, she was featured more on promotional imaging and things like that. And I think they really took that into consideration with Mass Effect Andromeda because you could argue that at least half or maybe even more than half of the footage and the advertising and whatnot they've done for Mass Effect Andromeda has really shown off Frida Ryder as Sarah Ryder.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
So, you know, BioWare, you know, they stepped up. You know what I mean?
I think that's absolutely great. I've had a couple other little things that I've done that tied into video games. There's an E3 convention where I was literally hired. I think it was called Squaresoft at the time.
Yes, Squaresoft, now Square Enix.
Yeah, to be this bald blue kind of silvery alien. And they used me on this little tiny screen. And I was literally like, the screen was hung from the ceiling, and it would fly in over the audience, and I would introduce each game, and I think Zelda was one of them, and you know, it was one of the fun things where that was actually my first experience as to, wow, this whole video gaming thing is getting to be really big, isn't it? I was really impressed when I got to go to that E3 convention, and I was just there so I could see what I had done. But that was the first time I looked around and went, wow, this is amazing. This is huge.
I mean, back when, you know, Squaresoft was Squaresoft, I mean, the video game industry wasn't even a fraction of what it is now. I mean, it's when Mass Effect Andromeda drops and people see and hear you as Vetra Nyx, you know, it is going, I mean, I'm sure it has already changed things for you right now, but it is going to, those games are sacred to a lot of gamers, including both myself and Boyce. So like right now, like this is like a dream come true for us, having to getting a chance to not interview you, but also Tom Taylorson and Sarah and Frida Wolf. It's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I've loved listening to their interviews because it's really caught me up on everything that's, you know, that it takes to be a real working actor in video games. It's really been impressive, and I'm just so amazed at how much information they share in all of their interviews. They're so great, both of them.
Yeah, I mean, they took us to school with those interviews we did, man. Like we learned so much. Like Frida like changed like the direction I was taking my life in, man. I was like, wow. I feel like she just aimed me the way I need to go, and you know, much respect to her for that. And you know, those conversations where me and Boyce would like talking after the podcast for like an hour or so afterwards. Like, yo, what, we got to do something different with the way we're living our lives right now. We're not living up to expectations.
Yeah, but I mean, the level of commitment, you know, that's involved, that she's done, is so incredible. I mean, the classes that she takes, you know, the coaching she says she still gets, you know, and all that sort of stuff. That's you know, you commit to something with that degree. The universe has got to say yes. It's got to say yes when you commit that much.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
You know, and on our part, it's uplifting because, you know, from where we're standing from, we see you guys as having made it, but you guys let us in on a secret that you're always still trying to make it. You're always still trying to go, still trying to move forward.
Yeah, it's totally true that, you know, every time you finish a job, you're unemployed again and you're looking for your next job. And it is a constant trying to get that next, you know, audition as great as you can make it, because you would love to get that next job. You'd like to be working next week, you know, whatever. And it's not easy. There's definitely a lot of people out here trying to do this. And you know, the sheer numbers, like they send out auditions to however many voiceover agents there are here in LA. And each agent then sends it to all of their clients who might possibly be able to, you know, fit any of the demographics that they're looking for. And then you send that in and you hope that maybe someone as amazing as Caroline Livingstone will actually listen to your audition, that it's not just going to be like the third one is like, oh, that one's perfect, I'm not going to listen to any of the rest of these, you know, but that someone is actually going to go through all of them and hear something that they like. That to me is so amazing. And the amount of time, I think it was Mac Walters just said, you know, that casting for Mass Effect Andromeda started over 2 years ago. You know? I actually sent in my audition in June of 2015. Wow. That was when I submitted my audition.
When did you hear back?
It was June of 2016.
Wow. So like a full year.
Yeah. It was, my husband and I were planning to go to Vegas. We love Vegas.
Vegas is awesome.
We try to go like once. Oh yeah. We try to go once a year, and we had our Vegas trip planned, and it was like, we try to, you know, get whatever great deal we can. It was a Sunday night, Monday night, coming back on Tuesday. And I get a call from my agent, because, you know, the best way to guarantee you're going to get a job is that you book something non-refundable, like a plane ticket, a hotel reservation. You're going to get a job. Yeah. So I sure enough get the call from my agent. I'm thinking, oh no, I'm going to have to cancel Vegas or something. But it's for the Wednesday. And it like all worked out perfectly. We got to go on our trip and came back, went to work on that Wednesday, but you don't know anything about it. You just know, gee, one of your auditions panned out and you're going to go to a studio and work. And it's not until you show up and you're sitting there with the headphones on and you're listening to someone telling you from Canada, hey, welcome to Mass Effect, you know, and you're trying to be really cool. But at the same time, inside you're going, I can't believe we got this. But the outside is going, yeah, okay, that's great. Alien. Okay, copy that. Turian, writing down, taking notes furiously so you can Google everything as soon as you get home. Yeah. You know, because if you're like me and you haven't played the game, I know the name. I've heard of Mass Effect, obviously, but I mean, I don't know any of the details. So, you know, I actually keep those notes here on my board here in my recording studio. And I look at them every once in a while and I see all the stuff that I wrote and how I misspelled this and I didn't know what that meant. And, you know.
So what type of notes we talking? Like, give us something that you had that you took down to get ready for playing Vetra. Like, give us something basic that you have written down to remind you about, you know, what this universe is about.
Well, one of the things that, you know, they did say, you know, was that I was a Turian, and we all know that now, so I think it's okay. I'm not breaking my NDA. Nope. But they said, like, Nyreen. Now, I didn't know who Nyreen was, so it looks like it says something like Myra. You know, that's what's on my notes, like Myra. And I think I looked up Myra and went, there's no Myra in Mass Effect. What was I hearing that I didn't write down right? So, yeah, I mean, little things like that.
Was there a, I guess, I don't know what you would call it, but a lore specialist or someone that could kind of bring you up to speed?
That was Caroline Livingstone. Yeah.
Voice director over at Bioware, by the way. Voiceover director. Yep.
Yeah, and Cheryl Chi actually was in on that first call as well. So I got to meet both of these amazing women on my first day. And you know, just the introduction. Of course, then I have to admit that yes, I'm not a gamer, so now she has to explain everything in detail. At which point, I think Cheryl probably went, "Okay, I got to go now." I would. I know. I certainly was like, "Oh, this is going to take a long time," but they were great. You know, I have had an amazing, practically perfect experience working with BioWare.
Yeah.
They're terrific to work for, and I feel really lucky that, you know, this was my second video game because I did do World of Warcraft.
Okay.
But they've been incredible and supportive, and no one ever gave me grief for not knowing, you know, how to pronounce something that maybe I should have known, you know. I'm sure Tom never had a problem with any of that, but I did, you know.
That dude is a Mass Effect aficionado. Like he's up to speed.
Really, the go-to guy.
He's the go-to guy. So if you need to bug him for some notes, ask him. He's probably like, Hazy, what are you doing? But I mean, first of all, let me just say, in terms of Nyreen, like, you know, in your defense, that's the Omega DLC, so not everybody's gonna know who she is.
Okay.
So you know, you know, it's hard. Honestly, I probably would have forgotten her name if it hadn't come up with me, you know, looking at this Mass Effect stuff and, you know, seeing that that's the first female Turian.
Yeah.
But that being said, man, one of the things I keep seeing on Twitter, you know, in the interactions between, you know, the BioWare team, yourself, Tom Taylorson, Frida Wolf, is how close you guys seem to have gotten from working on the game. I mean, you guys speak so flatteringly of each other, and I know it's wonderful to see, because I don't know, in a perfect world, I guess, for gamers, when we hold a property or a franchise so dear, it's really cool for us to see that, like, the people working on it had a great time making it too.
Yeah
Usually that would bleed out into the product, you know.
Yeah, no, it's totally true. I had an amazing time working on it. I actually have never had the opportunity to meet Frida Wolf. I met Tom Taylorson because our very last session, we got to meet. But I've never met Frida. I think I accidentally signed her contract one day when they gave me the wrong contract. But other than that, I've never met her. Yeah.
I'm sitting here speculating on what that last scene could be, but I know you can't confirm that. So,
oh no, we actually did not even work together. We just happened to be at the studio at the same time. Just, you know, don't even go there. Don't even think about it. You put that imagination at rest. It just happened to be that, you know, this was the last day, and you know, I got to record my stuff, and then there was Tom listening to me in the booth, and I've never been so, you know, nervous. You kind of get kind of comfortable, and then all of a sudden, oh, now I have an audience. You know, it's usually just you. You got the engineer on the other side. You got somebody in your headphones giving you direction. But in this particular case, there were like 6 people staring at you through the glass at the stuff that you're usually doing. And, you know, I'm a physical actor, so I may point, I may grab something, I may, you know, be kind of wrestling or doing something. And it's like, now I feel like an idiot. Yeah.
So in terms of like getting in character and preparing yourself for the role of Vetra, is there anything that, you know, like Boyce was saying, is there anything that, you know, you had to keep in mind going into that character? I mean, as I said, Garrus is like, you know, one of the most popular characters in the Mass Effect series. So I mean,
oh yeah, and for a good reason.
Yeah, I mean he's Space Batman.
Yeah,
So is there anything that you you know, really kind of try to bring into the character of Vetra? You know, maybe, you know, is she stern? Is she, you know, give us something about Vetra that, you know, I guess poured out of you and voicing that character, bringing her to life.
I'm trying to think what I can say without, you know, blowing anything of my NDA. I would just say it has to be, you know, that same thing of the Sarah Conner, the badass character. I'm going to, you know, take care of it in whatever way I have to. That was pretty much it. You know, they would play back a little piece of it, and I'd listen and go, yeah, that's Sarah Conner. Okay, let's do this. You know? Yeah.
So I guess you've worked on TV, you worked on gaming, you worked on games. What are some differences between working on, you know, working in those two industries? I mean, obviously, you know, you're acting still, but what are the differences between working with BioWare and working in some of the previous settings that you've already worked in?
Well, like TV shows, you know, the pace is, there's a lot of hurry up and wait, you know, there's so much time that goes on. But when it comes to video games, I mean, in a 4-hour session, you can go through so many emotional highs and lows that I think it's almost like deceptive. You're thinking, I just stood there in front of a microphone, you know, and talked or yelled or whatever I had to do. But you get home and you sit down for a little bit, and then this wall of tired hits you, and you realize, well, I you know, your body, if you are really angry or if you are really afraid, you feel that through your body. Your adrenaline rushes the same way. And it is, to me, it was like exhausting, the 4-hour sessions. I mean, I loved it. It was fantastic. But if you kind of commit 100%, a 4-hour session of all of these ranges will make you feel like I just did a play for 4 hours, a one-woman show for 4 hours. Josh Dean, who is one of our directors and a fantastic actor as well, he said to me, it's like the cold reading Olympics, because you don't have any you don't have any idea what you're going to say. It's going to flash up on the screen and you're going to read it completely cold. And sometimes you're going to get lucky and sometimes you're not going to get it. You got to do it a bunch of times until you get exactly what the meaning is. So it is like a one-woman show, you know, for 4 hours.
So you've got like a screen, like a teleprompter or something like that?
It's a great big monitor.
So a line will pop up and, you know, you'll say a line and then you'll hear something in like an earpiece or something. Like, how does it work?
If they have the pre-recorded dialogue for you, I mean, that was always what was so amazing, you know, to hear Tom or Frida, you know, say their line as Ryder and then respond to it, because so much of acting is reacting. And it's so much better when you actually hear it. And also because you're going to get the level, you know, are we sitting next to each other in something? Are we, you know, yelling at each other in the middle of combat? Whatever, you
There's
can
context
get that.
to it.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, you hear that dialogue and then your line flashes up and you get a little red bar and you go, and you can say it at any point from that time. And that's the way it works. But it is really great when you hear somebody and you can respond to it. It becomes a scene. It's a scene. It's not just you doing a one-woman show. It's now just become a scene, you know, so.
No, I mean, I'm just thinking about that process because I'm not sure. I mean, Boyce, you might be able to fill me in on this, but it's when Sarah and Sarah, when Frida and Tom, you know, were talking about the process, it didn't seem to me like they had, you know, pre-recorded voices already for any of the characters, but you actually got to hear like Tom or Frida as the characters before you got to say some of your lines, right?
Yeah, sometimes I did. Sometimes it was whoever was directing would just read, you know, the dialogue. And I remember because Josh Dean does a really good Liam. Yeah, he was pretty funny. So,
awesome. I mean, could it be possible because I guess Tom and Frida did the main characters, so maybe they had the bulk of the dialogue.
Yeah, because they started working on it way before I did. I think they started about the time I thought they said in their interviews, I remembered that they started somewhere like in maybe the August of 2015, something like that. Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'm going to insert 2 questions here from Twitter. You know, shout out to these Twitter users, by the way, for hitting us up. And that was, you know, you directed them to us, which, you know, thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure.
So at Sarah_Ryder, she had a question for you, and she wanted to know what was the audition process like for Mass Effect Andromeda? Was it any different than any previous experiences you've had thus far in your career? Thank you for that question, by the way.
Sometimes when you get a voiceover audition for a video game, sometimes it tells you what the video game is. Sometimes it's just a code name. It can be Taco. It can be the code name of the video game. You don't know. Sometimes you do know, you know, you can actually maybe look it up and watch a couple. And I love the people who actually put up clips of their video gaming because it helps those of us who don't know so much when we can go and watch, you know, what somebody else's gaming experience is. But you get these sides, and they're all broken down in different ways. Sometimes they give you like a certain emotion they want for each line. Sometimes they don't, and you're totally on your own. And you simply record the dialogue. But I do remember, though, about my Mass Effect Andromeda was it was so well written. It was so much like an acting scene that I had my husband work on it with me like an acting scene. And I don't often do that because they're not, you know, written like something you would take and then do as a TV show audition. But this was really well written, and that's testament to Cheryl Chi. But we worked on it together, and then I simply recorded it. And, you know, most of the time it's just you and your microphone, and you know, put it together as best you can. Sometimes you have a clue what the game is. Sometimes you have no clue. And this was one of those where I had no clue. Yeah, totally blind. I don't know. I like the way it's written, though. And, you know, I can totally dig into this character. And so I did.
I mean, that just seems like a testament to what BioWare is about. I mean, one of the things that, you know, myself and Boyce and, you know, the fans of BioWare love so much about that team is that they're writing for their games. I mean, from Mass Effect to Dragon Age to, I know Boyce would say Jade Empire, you know, all these fantastic games that they've worked on, the dialogue and the way they can paint a scene and the way they can, you know, immerse you in the decisions you have to make is, you know, it's, there's only a couple of studios who do it, you know, even close to that. And, you know, one of them is CD Projekt Red, who makes the Witcher series. Fallout from Bethesda is also one of them. But it's just, you know, BioWare is such an amazing team, man.
Yeah.
And they always do a fantastic job casting.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really, I've been reading a lot about it. And, you know, and I see, you know, I watch some of these videos from the original Mass Effect trilogy and, you know, listen to Jennifer Hale, and I'm like, that's everything I aspire to be in a voice actor right there. You know, it's really great. I'm so impressed, and I feel so lucky that, you know, this happens to be my first big video game experience, is working on something of this magnitude. That they do care about having good actors, or, you know, making it about the story.
Sure.
I love a lot of the articles that I read too that say how important this is right now, that we have something that is inclusive and people can, you know, really feel a part of.
Absolutely.
and emotionally get into. And I think it's fantastic. I just feel so very lucky.
I mean, you brought up the idea of casting, and even in hearing you talk about, you know, your history, there seems to be so much that I could, you know, I'm drawing parallels between what I know as a Turian, what I've learned thus far about Vetra, and who you are and what you've gone through. And, you know, just, you know, it's a testament to BioWare and their, you know, the fantastic casting that Boyce, you know, mentioned. They really are stellar at picking the right people. And in terms of Mass Effect, I mean, this generation so far, this generation of games, you know, it's got its stalwarts, you know, Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, Zelda Breath of the Wild, but I do feel like there's space for a game like Mass Effect, where, you know, you're pulled into these decisions that you need to make. And I think, you know, I'm looking forward to what BioWare has to offer with Mass Effect Andromeda. It's important. It's important to the industry.
Yeah, I'm super excited about it. I can't believe sometimes when I see what the fan art that people are creating right now. I mean, it's mind-blowing how talented these people are, and they're making these beautiful pieces of fan art and these hysterically funny pieces of fan art. I'm so impressed by the talent, and the fans are just amazing.
And also, what's it's just extremely awesome about the Mass Effect games, and why the companions are so popular and so loved, is because it's a journey through multiple games. Yeah. I mean, we don't know how many games we'll have, how many sequels we'll have to Andromeda, but let's say there were a sequel to this, you'd be back and your character may change, and they may go through different experiences, and some of those experiences are based off of decisions we make in the game.
Sure. Yeah, so your mouth sort of to growth. God's ears. Am I sounding like a New Yorker now? Your mouth to God's ears.
I mean, hopefully it spawns a trilogy. But you know, Boyce is right, man. I mean, these these characters, you almost become like friends with them. You know what I mean, or enemies, depending on what it is. And you hear people have such strong opinions about for example, whether or not you save Caden or Ashley on Vermeer, and that's the type of thing that could make or break a friendship right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can only imagine. I have listened to the music from Vermeer. I have to say, somebody said earlier on, I was just starting to listen to the soundtracks that you can find on YouTube and really enjoying. And I was listening to one and I asked somebody, what else should I hear? And I think it was Virgil. Is that right? Virgil and Vermeer. Are those two soundtracks?
I think it's Is it Vigil or Vigil? I think it's Vigil, right? Isn't it?
Could be Vigil.
Definitely Vermeer is one of them.
Yeah, and those are both amazing, and I'm so glad somebody pointed me in that direction. Yeah, I mean, the music is incredible too. I can't wait to hear the music.
Yeah. I mean, one of my favorite tracks, and I encourage you to listen to, is "After Earth" from Mass Effect 3, or "Leaving Earth."
Write that down right now. Writing it down. Leaving Earth.
Yeah, After Earth is a whack movie by Jaden Smith and Will Smith. So Tim, don't watch that. Don't do that. Don't do that to you. Save yourself. Save yourself. But Leaving Earth, that's that's a very emotional scene. I mean, you're still going through the trilogy, so I won't spoil it for you. But it's a really
also a good track is I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's basically the theme to Mass Effect 2 when you're going on the final mission.
Suicide Mission.
Writing that down.
If you ever need something to pump you up as you're putting an AR-15 together,
yeah,
get you in
those
the mood
days
there.
are behind me. I kind of miss it, but then again, you go on to other jobs, and this one's pretty cool to go on to.
Yeah. I mean, let me just ask you another question from another Twitter user. This is at J_Shepherd1, aka Jay Mills. What's up, Jay Mills? He says, were you nervous at all playing the second on-screen female Turian, and where did you draw inspiration from? And I'm going to ask another follow-up question. What are some of your influences in acting?
Oh, okay. Well, luckily, to answer Jay's first part of the question, I had no point of reference. I had no idea kind of the magnitude. I mean, if I knew then what I know now, I probably would have peed myself while I was trying to record. I would be so nervous, right? But luckily I didn't know. And so I just kind of set out to do the character the best that I could. Now, I think somebody sent me that GIF where it's Danielle Rayne realizes the magnitude of following in Garrus's footsteps or something like that. Screams internally. And it's like, I kind of feel that now, but everything I've done is in the can and I can't control it. I can't do anything about it. I know every day I went in and I just did the very best that I am capable of every day in that studio, because I got great material. I had great people, supporting me. That Judy, who was our engineer. I mean, you get to the point where you're hugging each other every time you see each other, because now you feel like part of this family. Yeah. So outside of just kind of giving it my all, luckily I didn't have that over my head of having any idea of how important this character would be to the Mass Effect fans. Sure, really lucky. Really lucky. And what was the second part of the question? Because now I totally forgot it. Oh, acting influences. Yep. I remember now.
Yep.
One of the first things I remember seeing was, it was like on PBS or something. They were replaying Shakespeare. They had free. Do they still have the free Shakespeare in the Park in New York?
Yes. Yeah. They still do.
One of the first things, I don't remember how old I was, but I remember they had a Taming of the Shrew with Raul Julia and Meryl Streep. And it was recorded, and I don't know what year this was, but I remember watching that and just thinking, oh my God, this is like so amazing. This is really what I want to do. And I just, was lucky enough. I had a high school drama teacher who also kind of encouraged me by giving me a couple lead roles in high school, and the bug bit, that was it. So, but I have to say, I do think that Meryl Streep is definitely one of my, top role models because of, the scope of everything that she has done. Sure. I went through a phase in New York City where I would go see all the foreign films, and I love that. I just, you know how it is in New York. You could be walking home from an audition and then all of a sudden looking, hey, there's a movie theater. And hey, the next movie starts in like 20 minutes. I'm going to buy a ticket and go in right now and see it. Well, that doesn't happen in LA. not at all. But, I loved a lot of the foreign movies. There was a trilogy called Red, White, Blue that I think was really amazing. People like Juliette Binoche.
Sure.
But, today there's so many actresses I'm inspired by. There's a lot of great actresses both in TV and in movies. I think it's so amazing what great TV we have. Do you guys watch Santa Clarita Diet?
I've heard of it. It's the Netflix series where I think Drew Barrymore is
so funny.
Cannibal?
Undead. She is an undead mom.
Oh, okay.
And it's Timothy Oliphant, who I had no idea was so funny. But there's so much great TV that you can just binge watch. And I love shows like Westworld. I've been a big fan of Thandie Newton for a long time. She's incredible. But Westworld is great. Game of Thrones. I'm a huge fan. Can I tell you how excited I was when I found out about Natalie? And that was in the middle of one of my sessions where I was actually informed of this. And, that was one of the moments of, oh my God, really? Game of Thrones actress. And, it's hard as an actor to always be confident. There's that little voice in the back of your head going, they're going to replace you with a big star. You know that, right? You're thinking you're just a placeholder and they're going to come up with somebody huge to play Vetra. So until the day they actually announce you, that little voice is just kind of in there going,
Did you have a chance to meet Natalie Dormer?
No, definitely not.
the no you just said was
that would be really nice.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, no, it would have been cool though. I mean, Marjorie, her character is so great on Game of Thrones. I can't wait, to hear what she's done with it. I loved, I don't think the 13 minutes that they showed the opening of Mass Effect Andromeda. Oh, that was so great, and to actually get to hear her and see what, it's fantastic.
I mean, hopefully,
did you guys watch it, or did you not watch it because you don't want the spoilers?
So I put it out there right now. I'm put out there right now. I was telling boys just last night. I was like, yo, I'm at like DEFCON 5 right now. I'm like, anything Mass Effect Andromeda, I'm shutting it off. It's 2 weeks, right? Yeah. Roughly 2 weeks at the time of recording right now until that game releases. I don't want anything spoiling anything for me right now. I want to jump into that world and get lost in that universe. I haven't been watching.
Absolutely nothing happened in those 13 minutes. Forget I said
it. I mean, we've been waiting for this game for such a long time. You know what I mean? Like those games like changed our lives. You know what I mean? Like me and Boyce, we always talk about the influence Mass Effect is. I mean, we're doing this right now because of games like Mass Effect, So, I mean, but hopefully get to meet Natalie Dormer. Maybe there's an opportunity. Maybe there's some type of celebration for the success of Mass Effect Andromeda. Hopefully she's there. And then you could just walk up to her and go,
all really spread out. I think we're like super spread out. I think, people recorded their parts in London. Sure. People recorded their parts, maybe in Canada. I know there weren't that many of us that recorded in LA. I don't know how many of the other parts, but I know it was Frida, Tom, and myself. And I'm not sure about where Christine, is it Christine or Christina Lakin, where Christine she recorded. Lakin. Yeah, Christine, where she recorded. Maybe it was here as well. But I don't know. But I think we were all pretty spread out. There wouldn't be let's all go to the bar and hang out, for one night and celebrate it, because it would be happening in all these different places. Canada, Edmonton, everywhere, Austin.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, BioWare is a big studio, and EA is a big publisher, huge publisher. So not surprised to hear that. Everybody's around the world, and they just bring you guys together for this amazing AAA title.
And we're actually not even brought together. We just go to the studio. You know, like you just show up, like one studio's in Burbank, one studio's in, you know, Los Angeles, close to Santa Monica.
Yeah.
You just show up where they tell you to show up. And, you know, the person whose lines were recorded and you're actually working with, they may have recorded them in London. You just don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to ask a question. I kind of had this in my mind from before, but I was waiting for a good time to bring it up. And, you know, it's not really a good time, but I want to bring it up. You were talking about PS4 versus PS4 Pro. You decided on a console. What better way to decide than with the guys from Get Coins at Die Tryin?
Thank you.
We're going to help you pick your next console. So,
yeah, I was honestly thinking it really all depends on your TV. So if you have one of those really nice, new, expensive 4K TVs
or an HDR enabled TV,
then go with the PS4 Pro. If not, go with the PS4.
Okay, yeah, that helps. Yeah, because the one we have it's like, I think it's a 75-inch, but I don't think it's HD. I don't think it's the 4K. I think it's HD, but not 4K.
Okay.
Is that possible? It could be HD and not 4K. And, you know, you bought it at Costco. You go to Costco and you go, look at that TV. That looks nice. That picture's good. Let's get it.
I'd say go with the PS4 Pro. Because not the PS4 Pro, the regular PS4.
The regular one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess getting a PS4 Pro and you don't have, you know, I guess the 4K TV is almost like getting a Lamborghini and you're just driving 50 miles an hour.
Right. Yeah, like LA traffic, and you look next to you and there's some car that it can do 200 miles an hour, but it's going the same 15 you are in your Prius. Hi, how you doing? I'm getting 56 miles to the gallon. What you getting over there?
What's out here trying to get some speeding tickets in New York? The cops don't play out here with this stuff, man. You better calm down. Talking about more than 50 miles an hour. Come on now. But I mean, I agree with Boyce. Unless I don't know how old your TV is. If you're planning on getting a new TV anytime soon, then you may want to consider, you know, PS4 Pro, you know, versus PS4. Because if you're getting a new TV, chances are you're getting a 4K TV, which is Ultra HD. That's HD, which is 1080p. That's the standard for HD. Then you have Ultra HD, which is 4K. So if you plan on getting a new TV, or if your current TV has HDR, you might want to think about the Pro. But you get the PS4. There's extra $100 in your pocket. There's not that much of a difference right now. I personally would go for the PS4. And if you need to find like the better bundle for you, if you're trying to save some cash, you know, we can point out some sales because we're a bunch of cheap ass people, and me and Boyce always looking for deals.
Do you do Newegg? Newegg.com?
That's one of many.
One of them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, because I was looking at the ones on Newegg, and in fact, this morning I was looking because the TV, if we were to get the one that we have, but having it would be like $6,000. I'm like, $6,000. Wow, that's a great down payment on a bigger car. Okay. Yeah. So I don't think we'll be upgrading. I think we'll be hanging on to the TV we got it's only like 2 years old. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. PS4 is the way to go for you. Because if you are buying a new TV, the next time you're going to buy a new TV, it's probably going to be like next gen. So you're probably going to be looking at like, you know, PS5 or whatever the successor to Xbox One is. So yeah, PS4 is the way to go for you.
Okay. And then sometimes they come bundled, and there's Uncharted 4. Yay?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one.
Absolutely,
that
yay!
Is a fantastic one.
Okay.
Yay!
That's the one that I'm looking at. I think I have it saved to go in my shopping cart on Amazon too, because it's like, what is it, like $250 for the PS4 with the bundle?
Yep.
With the Uncharted 4. So I think that's the one that I'm going to
Uncharted is a great one to kind of sit on the couch with some popcorn and watch someone play.
Absolutely.
No, watch someone play. Thank you. I really appreciate you're kind of like, you know, steering this towards my level of gaming experience. Very kind of you.
It's funny you say that, because I was like, oh, you know, you could, you know, use the extra money that you save from the Pro, buy some snacks that you can snack while your husband games. And, you know, you guys would be good to go. And it's Uncharted 4 is like almost like a cinematic experience in that respect. So that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
Okay, I think that's gonna be the one. Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else I should buy, guys, that you want to tell me about?
Anything else you should buy? That's a good question.
That's a rabbit hole. I don't think you want to jump into that, because we will drive you to bankruptcy in terms of
Yeah,
all the games.
I wanted
you'd
something in
recommend.
4K because they're putting out such, great pieces of videos, and that Mass Effect
Yeah.
Andromeda is, so that I could see something, see it on 4K on something. So I do have a computer monitor that is, UHD 4K, but this is just for editing. I do my voiceover stuff on it and everything, and then I watch my YouTube videos that are 4K in this.
Well,
yeah,
that does open up, I guess,
things
another
a little
option.
bit. Yeah,
because you could possibly get Mass Effect Andromeda on the computer, on the PC.
But I'm spoiled by the big screen now.
Yeah,
and I love being able, and especially because the visuals that they've shown are so mind blowing, and the art is so incredible. I really want to see it on the big screen.
Yeah. I mean, I encourage you to get the PS4. It's funny though, because I could totally picture people listening to this and screaming PS4 Pro, but pipe down, y'all. PS4 is the way to go for this situation.
Yeah, I did not believe the can of worms that I opened up when I said, well, Xbox One or PS4? Holy cow. Holy cow. What did I just do?
You got people that are like, it's sacrilegious to not play Mass Effect on an Xbox console. There's people like out there really serious. Like console wars are it's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game.
And I appreciate anybody who said that they wanted to multiplayer with me, but you do not want to. I no. Why is she still running around in circles, looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down? Yeah.
And that multiplayer is it seems to be a lot more fast paced than the previous multiplayer. So it's like that's like the fastest Mass Effect game I've seen. So you might have to go through another boot camp before you're ready to go online.
I right now I'm totally dead meat. Totally dead meat in one of those games. Forget it. I'm useless. Can't do anything over here. I'll just watch you play.
As long as you let people know who you are, they'll hopefully have mercy on you.
Is there like a beginning level, like you request? Can I get the level, kindergarten level for multiplayer? Does that exist?
Depends on the game, I suppose.
You might need a time machine in order to do that, and like, go back in time and kind of start like day one when multiplayer first came out. But other than that, I think you might have a problem there. Once again, you might need a trainer. Might need to hire somebody. DeepBoyce is looking.
A tutor in gaming.
I mean, DeepBoyce, what I'm saying, he's a man of many jobs. He wears many hats. He's the prime minister of post production for us. So he could also be your trainer.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll bear that in mind. I'm writing a note down right here. Okay. Right next to leaving Earth, suicide mission, get a tutor. Yeah.
And right next to Myra Turian.
Who's Myra? What?
All right, we're gonna switch gears a little bit, and we're gonna do what we call a new segment, right? Where this is completely new. We've never done this before. And you're the first person. You're the first victim.
I'm the guinea pig.
You're not the guinea pig. You're the victim.
Am I a space hamster? What? No.
See, look at that. You already got Mass Effect references down. That was good. See, that was good. You stepped up. So this segment is called Get Real or Die Tryin. So essentially, what's going to happen is we're going to paint a scenario for you, and you have to give us your real life answer, like what you would do if you were in this situation. Okay.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
First up, you're reserved for the Mass Effect Andromeda initiative, and you are unexpectedly chosen to replace someone else last minute. You only have time to say goodbye to one person. Who are you going to call? And it cannot be the Ghostbusters. Not an answer right there. Who are you going to call?
It's got to be my mom and dad. Got to call home. Got to call mom and dad.
Mom and dad. I thought that question was going to get you in trouble with some people. I know people are going to be listening like, yo, she better say me. I'm going to be waiting for that call.
Well, mom and dad aren't listening, so maybe I should change my answer.
All right, next up. This is another Mass Effect Andromeda Initiative question or scenario. If you were chosen for the Andromeda Initiative, which includes a 600-year journey, what 3 personal items would you bring with you?
3 personal items.
3 personal items. Only 3. Yeah.
Or mementos.
And you can't bring like a dog? How about a dog? Can I bring my dog?
You could bring a dog.
Yeah, so I would probably bring a dog if it's safe for them to travel. I would definitely need. I'm so like device hooked up. I would need either an iPhone or an iPad or something, to be able to communicate if that's going to be possible.
I mean, it's going to be a 600-year journey. You're going to need your phone's going to be like super outdated by the time you get to where you want to go,
That's true. So the third thing is going to be a charger.
Those are good answers. Do you have a dog right now?
I have two. Yeah, I got a dog and a horse, 2 dogs and a horse.
Oh, damn, a horse.
We live in an area that's actually zoned for horses. And it's the craziest thing because, we're right down the road from some of the studios and stuff like that. But this is zoned equestrian. So my horse lives in the backyard. And I would never have had that in Manhattan, would I?
No, definitely not.
Have you ever journeyed to work via horseback?
No, because there's no safe place to tie them up. Not like the Wild West anymore. But yeah. But no, haven't done that. But yeah, I actually will probably ride this afternoon if the rain doesn't come down. And then we have 2 dogs. They're both rescue dogs. One was found on the streets in Los Angeles in like a rainstorm, and there was a foster person who was like, I need somebody to take this dog, and so she's ours. Her name is Luna. And then we got Max. Yeah, we got Max last year, and he's some sort of a poodle crossed with a terrier. He's really cool. He's just a totally scruffy dog from the Burbank shelter. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Max and Luna right now. What's up, guys?
Yeah. Boyfriend and girlfriend. And she's bigger than he is. I just, for everybody who's going, oh, she's so tall, I don't think she's romanceable. Luna is 4 times Max's size and he loves her.
Max is more than enough. Max is more than enough man for her. And that's what matters. That's for the gentlemen out there too who might feel a little bit intimidated by taller women. You got a shot, man. Just persevere. What's your horse's name?
Maverick.
Maverick. No, that's a good name for a horse.
Yeah, I think so. He's a beautiful thing. He's an Arabian. He's turned white with age. So he's like a beautiful white, gorgeous horse. He's like my equine soulmate. He's kind of crazy. He jumps, he bucks, he spooks, but I can ride it out, and I just love going up in the Griffith Park Hills with him. It's really amazing.
I mean, Maverick sounds like the name of like the Lone Rider's horse or something. That sounds the Lone Ranger's horse. It sounds like like an action horse's name, for lack of a better way to describe it.
Well, his registered name is Champagne Finale, and I really could see myself saying that to him on a regular basis. Champagne Finale. There's just
sounds
fancy.
like the next mixtape he's dropping. Boys, you want to take the next scenario, man?
I think there's actually a picture of both you and Champagne Finale on the internet.
Yeah, there's a couple. There was actually a magazine to bring awareness to Mustangs, which, they're wild Mustangs. And unfortunately, because of the battle for the land that they live on, sometimes they're, they were being rounded up and literally just killed so that they could use the area for cattle. So there's a big battle. And this magazine, I think it's called True Cowboy Magazine. I did pose on it. It's a digital online magazine. So Maverick and I posed for True Cowboy Magazine. Yeah.
That's awesome. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We have this, like, I'm Googling because I wanted to see, and this is a fantastic picture of you and Maverick up here. It's a very sexy picture. It's very nice. It's very nice, man. Maverick's
it's
over
for
there
the
looking...
cause. It's just for the cause. Yeah.
All right. So the next question is, you're an explorer in space.
Okay.
And you discover a habitable planet. Habitable.
Okay.
What do you name it? And it can't be Champagne Finale.
Oh.
I'm kind of coming on to that name. I like that name.
That's a dope name, man.
Champagne Finale.
Yeah, man, Champagne Finale coming this December, yo. Check it out on SoundCloud. What are you gonna name your planet?
Yeah, I'm torn between. I was thinking about Luna, naming it after my dog. But then I've also got the word quantum is here. So I kind of like quantum.
What
Quantum.
about quantum rain?
Oh,
Quantum rain. That's a good name for a planet.
Okay, all right, it's done.
Set your mark on it.
Yeah,
I'm putting
Quantum
my vacation
rain.
plans in right now to quantum rain. That sounds dope.
Yeah,
Also,
I'm gonna get that tattoo.
Nightclub.
A tattoo, quantum rain. Somewhere on my body. Yeah.
I mean, if you ever start like a nightclub or something, that would be a good name for a nightclub or something too. And you could play Champagne Finale on the first night that you open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope that's one of the tracks on the upcoming soundtrack for Mass Effect Andromeda Champagne Finale. Vetra's
Followed
theme.
by Quantum Rain. That sounds like another soundtrack, doesn't it? Yeah.
I just keep thinking of Prince, like Quantum Rain, Quantum Rain. I would love to hear.
Bring an umbrella. We've got some quantum rain happening out there.
Boys, you want to get the next one?
Yeah, next question. You are tasked with establishing and leading a new colony on a new planet.
Yep.
What is the first law you would put in place for the colonists?
Rain's first law.
First law. No stealing.
No stealing.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously we got to share everything if we're just the first colonists there. And I guess stealing would make everybody be forced to share, right?
Yeah, well, if you're going to make a law, you're going to have a punishment for breaking the law. So what's the punishment?
I smack you on the back of your hand. Smack you upside the head.
And then afterward, you say, "I am the law." Judge Dredd. All right. Next scenario. Okay, you're an ambassador tasked with diplomacy on behalf of humanity to an alien race, and you need to establish peace. What gift are you going to give to the alien race on behalf of humanity that represents our intention for peace?
Wow. You know, you wonder if there's going to be any kind of plant life out in space, but I always feel like some sort of, living thing, like, you'd give flowers or a plant if it's like a housewarming gift, right? Yeah. So I see myself with some sort of branches of something living to give them.
Okay. It's a good choice. Hopefully it's not like poison ivy or anything like
These
that.
These are hard questions. These are very hard questions. I'm pulling shit out of my ass here. And,
Well, you better get real or die trying, okay? We're not playing games here. This is life or death.
I'm dying here, I think. I'm dying trying.
All right. Next scenario. You're sending out a mixtape into space. We keep bringing on mixtapes on this one. What songs would you include? Song or songs? Okay, so it could be one or many.
Well, I love Prince, and you got me in that mindset now that you just were singing Purple Rain. So, yeah, it's got to be Prince.
Okay. All right, that's a good choice. That's a fantastic choice. Them aliens going to be jamming out when they find that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love Prince.
Boys, you want to take the next one?
Yeah. If you had to go on a journey to save the galaxy, would you want to be a team leader, a role player, or a loner?
I think I'd want to be a role player. I need a little guidance. I need somebody to tell me what to do so that I don't go off half-cocked, And yet, I'm a people person. I do like the company of, somebody to have a beer with at the end of, in the Vortex Lounge, right? Somebody to have a cocktail with at the end of the day and just, talk about what you've done.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm a role player.
All right. That kind of ties in nicely to our next scenario. So how would you describe your personality? Do you shoot first and ask questions later, or do you take a more diplomatic approach?
I think I'm more diplomatic. I don't know. There's, I've shot so many people that I really, I'd have to ask them, but it's too late now.
I mean, if the diplomatic approach doesn't work, you still got that AR-15 you could just pull out.
Right. It's speak softly and carry a big stick.
All right, boys, you're up, man.
Okay, what is your weapon of choice when you're in the midst of a zombie apocalypse? We have some options here. Either shotgun, blade, or I guess like some sort of sword, bow and arrow, or a blunt object. It's like a club.
Definitely that I can't have an automatic rifle. I like automatic rifles.
you could have a gun of some type.
Yeah. I would definitely go with, something that I could have at least 20 to 50 rounds a clip that you could just, keep going.
What happens when you're out of bullets, though?
Well, then you can at least hit them with the back stock of it, You can the gun stock, boom. Yeah.
That's in itself a blunt object.
I really hope this never happens. That stupid zombie apocalypse we're all worried about. Oh, jeez.
I mean, if it happens here on Earth, man, you could always travel to Quantum Rain. Just get on out of this planet, move on.
Bring Champagne Finale with me.
Yeah. You can escape.
Listening to Prince the whole way.
All right, this is our final Get Real or Die Tryin scenario, okay? This is important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have one vial containing the cure to an epidemic that's ravaging Quantum Rain, but your best friend is afflicted with said epidemic. Do you use the contents of the vial to save your friend, or do you synthesize it, use that cure, synthesize it to create a cure for the rest of the world, for the rest of the planet?
But why can't I say both? No, there's a workaround here. And that was always the thing that we learned as Sarah Conner. You don't have to just save John Connor or save the world. There's a workaround and we will find it.
She got us.
Got us. That's right. Because we were thinking of sci-fi, we were thinking of games, but there's always another way. That's the real answer there. There's always another way.
Yeah. And Sarah Connor's going to find it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, Danielle, that is a wrap for us. This has been an awesome experience. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us, to talk with us, and to hang with us. And Get Going to Die Tryin. It's a pleasure to have you on this podcast. Yeah. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed talking to both of you guys. It was great. And you guys were very gentle with me because, I was this is my first interview. It's kind of virgin, experience. So you guys took good care of me, and I really appreciate it.
I mean, thankfully you didn't die trying. You're still alive. And, you're still here. So that's a good thing to go.
She turned the tables on us, and we're gonna have to rethink our scenarios to make sure they're more airtight.
Yeah, she turned the table. She played hardball, man. She gunned us down with the AR-15. I didn't expect that. So, cool. Danielle, is there anything you want to say? Where can we find you? Where can we check some of your stuff? Where can the people out there get more of some Danielle Rayne in their lives?
You know what? I'm on Twitter at Danielle Rayne. That's probably all you need. I mean, I do have a website and stuff like that, but I love the Twitter experience. I love being able to respond if somebody, says something and it's, not NDA going to kill me, So I really appreciate, the Twitter experience.
Awesome. And that's Rayne spelled R-A-Y-N-E.
That's right.
The cool way to spell Rayne. That should be the way Rayne is spelled. That's a dope way to spell Rayne.
Thank you.
So, DeepBoyce, aka Stizzle Stock, do you want to sign us out, man?
Yeah. Again, many thanks to Danielle Rayne. It was an absolute blast, having you here and talking with us. And everyone who's out there listening, definitely either pre-order or go to the stores March 21st when Mass Effect Andromeda drops.
Word.
And also check out Danielle's other work, especially on YouTube, the Portal mini that she did. Fantastic work. And absolutely. And Danielle, don't fret, because given the reaction that Vetra got online, she's definitely going to be one of the more beloved characters
for sure
in the game. Absolutely.
Sure. Thank you.
For sure. I mean, it's looking like she's going to be a fantastic character, and Garrus will be proud.
That touches my heart. Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for listening. If you liked anything you've heard, you can always like or subscribe. Hit us with the drops, Stizzle Stock, man. Tell people where they can find us.
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at DeepBoyce, at HazyRome, and on youtube.com/GCDTcast, as well as thebgb.com and the BGB's Twitter, thebgb.com.
Yes, sir. So anyway, guys, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for listening. Vetra Nyx, Danielle Rayne, Stizzle Stock, HazyRome. We're getting out of here. We're gonna go hang on Quantum Rain and listen to Champagne Finale together. We'll catch you guys later.